Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are about to launch a lander to land on Tylo. Let's do this, shall we? MechJeb should be able to handle this ascent. We'll just have to keep a bit of an eye on it. Up we go. Of course, in the meantime, we do have our asteroid base happily mining away and hollowing itself out, now that it is energy positive at nearly all times. We should be just fine to keep that thing running. There shouldn't be an issue with that. Although I do want to check in on it here pretty soon. I mean, theoretically, here's the thing. It's like 4 units of power in the positive when we've got both mining modules operating, when the one is overheated. So the thought is, if one group of Gigantors goes behind the asteroid and is occluded from the sun, we could have a problem. That's the thinking, anyway. Because the Gigantors are producing like 1.2 energy flow each. So, yeah, I'll have to think about that. But if we just shut down the inefficient mining module, it shouldn't be an issue. So we are having a bit of roll stability here, but that's okay, I think. We're gonna have about 25 more seconds of burn. We're gonna be very, very high in the atmosphere by then, and we should have our roll authority under control by that point. This should be a completely nominal launch. We are hitting some pretty massive atmospheric effects on our fairing, but that's okay. I'm going to turn on RCS since our gimbaling just went off, and we will take control of this bit of a pitch. There we go. Got it under control now, and we'll ditch our fairing right about now, actually. Now is a great time to ditch our fairing. Fantastic. And we're just going to keep burning prograde the moment we hit space. I just don't want to be burning prograde and have to ditch these boosters while still in atmo. That's the big thing. Also, apparently someone is weed eating or something right outside. That's a little bit obnoxious. We are going to skip circularization though. Go straight to prograde. Let's do this. Okay, ditch our booster stages. Nice. Didn't even take out a tail fin. That's what I like to see. Okay. So we are pushing up our apoapsis. We're just going to keep burning straight prograde until we get out of the Kerbal system. Let's do this. We've got plenty of delta V here. We should probably go ahead and extend our antenna before we forget to do that. And also at least one solar panel. But I'm going to go ahead and extend both of these solar panels, just to make sure we've got our power. Fantastic. Oh boy. I never fixed that in the Geraldo. The fact that these are kind of skewed. Oh, I can't believe that. I really thought I fixed that. Oh well. It's fine. So our apoapsis is pushing out further and further. That's fine. We will be breaking out of the Kerbal system relatively shortly, like 400 meters per second or so. And it should be just fine. So, come on. Let's do this. How much are we going to have left over in our main booster stage? That's the main question here. If we've got about 1 kilometer per second left, as I thought we would, it'll be great. We are just now starting to hit the very fast apoapsis pushing, though. Okay. Okay. So we have an encounter with the moon here. I need to take a look at that. Okay. That's not bad. Not bad at all. And we do have about 900 kilometers per second left. So let's go ahead and warp directly to this moon encounter. And then we'll warp past the moon encounter. And then we'll just go ahead and warp out of the system. Nice and easy. There we go. Excellent. We're past the encounter. Where are you at, Moon? Hi, Moon. Bye, Moon. Don't really care about you anymore. You're old news at this point. So, we're going to put this over Tylo. Let's go ahead and warp to here, where we are out of the influence of Kerbin's gravity. And let's go ahead and go to Jewel, set as target. Excellent. So our ascending and descending nodes are how bad? About 1.3 degrees, I believe? Yes, 1.3 degrees. That's not too bad. We will be almost at the descending node here, so let's go ahead and get that set up. Maneuver planner. Match planes with target. At the next descending node. That's a descending node there. So we will create and execute. That'll be in 6 days. 216 meters per second. Not too shabby. I like it. Of course, I don't like the garbage collection that's happening. I think this is to do less with how long the game has been running and more to do with how many things I have tracked. Like, actually, one thing I noticed is we're tracking a lot of debris. I might want to go through and untrack some of that debris. Like, there was somewhere around 91 pieces of debris when I was going through the Space Center. Untracking that couldn't hurt, for sure. Maybe I'll do that between episodes, because that'll be very tedious indeed. Well, anyway, let's get this inclination burn done, shall we? That's nice. So we're going to have about 700 meters per second in order to throw at our home and transfer from our main booster stage. I like that a lot. Okay, now there's like somebody with a lawnmower outside my window. That's exciting. Yeah, you can stop that. Kill rot. Okay. Let's go ahead and do a home and transfer. Create node. Let's see what we get. Let's hop over into the Jewel system and see what we've got here. Ooh, that's actually a really nice encounter right there. We can bring it in a little bit. There's no problem with that. But that's a solid encounter right there. We need to be checking our directionality here. Okay, I like that position. What about our inclination? Our inclination looks good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Our directionality, we will be coming in here and leaving here. And Tylo is going this direction. That looks great. Let's do that. Let's think real quick about our inclination here. We could do some small inclination changes. Something along the lines of... Nah. Let's do inclination changes once we get there. Let's execute that node. I like it. Node in T-minus 45 days, too. This is altogether great. Everything just kind of lined up. I didn't time the launch. It just worked out that way. Very nice. Okay, so we'll have 700 meters per second exactly. Well, 699, apparently. Now back to 700. Must be a floating point issue. So we'll have about 1.8 kilometers per second that we'll have to burn out of our nuclear stage. That won't be too bad, actually. Like, this is less delta V to get to than our asteroid base was. I suspect that's due to timings. But here we are. We are already at our burn point, which is fantastic. And yeah, I really think that one of my big problems, it's not really your problem, it's my problem, with the garbage collection and the stuttering has to do with the number of tracked debris objects. Like, after this, we're gonna have like 93, I think. Something along those lines. If I can ditch those, that'll probably speed the physics calculations during warp up substantially. And let's go ahead and ditch this stage as soon as we are burned out of fuel, which is right about now. There we go. And let's physics warp this burn. It's looking like it's going to be a 19-minute burn, so about 4 minutes for us. Well, 5 minutes for us, a little under, 4.5, somewhere around in there. But even so, that will be an absolutely fantastic encounter with Jewel. It will not take that much to break even because of that nice parabolic shape. I like it a lot. I like it a way lot. We're not going to have to change our directionality. We'll just be able to very, very easily do a braking burn, change our inclination a little bit, if we have to even, and then head on into Tylo. Shouldn't be too bad. I wish right now that I could leave here and check on our asteroid base 60 days in, but alas, cannot do that while burning. One thing we can do is once this burn is finished, it's going to take 2 years and 317 days to get to our periapsis. So we can pop over and check on the asteroid base at that point. Do a bit of warping over there, as long as we don't warp too far. However, for now, we have another 13 minutes of burn here. Oh my. How off-center that is. That's going to be interesting. Oh well, it should theoretically be fine. I think. These are gimbaled, right? Yeah, they're gimbaled. It should be okay. Fantastic. So, we have ourselves another 10 minutes of burn here. I don't think that we're going to need that much of an inclination change here, if any. I mean, looking at this here, yeah, we are coming in at a bit of an angle, but how much of that is caused... Okay, yeah. I was going to ask how much of it is caused by the perspective of the camera, and how much of it is caused by us actually being at an inclination. We are actually at a bit of an inclination here. We're going to be off a little bit, but that's fine. I am completely comfortable with changing our inclination once we get in system. Won't be an issue. So we've got another 7.5 minutes of burn here. I would like to swap over to our jewel base and just take a quick gander at what's happening there. But that will not happen until this burn has finished. 700 more meters per second, and we've got ourselves 5,500 in the tank. No concerns here. Plenty of delta V to get to Jewel. And then the question becomes, what will our next mission be? Well, in part that kind of depends on what the asteroid situation is. I mean, if the asteroid is sufficiently mined out by the time we get there in a couple of years, that'll probably be the next mission in the attempt to satisfy the time requirement of this contract. If it's not sufficiently mined out, which is what I expect, then we'll have to look at something else. Which would probably end up being a satellite mission, either that or the suicide mission into Jewel. One of those two things. A contract might pop up, though, like, for example, the science data from surface of Tylo. And if a contract pops up, then great. That's what we'll do. But without a contract, I mean, it kind of depends. Depends a whole lot, actually. I would really like to see that asteroid be mined out by the time we get here, but I don't know. 3 years to mine out that much ore and convert it into fuel? Like, that's 1,300 tons. That is a lot of fuel. Trying to do a bit of back-of-the-envelope calculation here, but... Okay, very nice. Here we are. Let's pop on over to the asteroid base and see just how exactly that's going. So let's swap to the jewel base here, and let's take a quick look. With any luck, it is still operational. Hey, look at that. Okay. Well, it looks like it is still mining, so that's good. In fact, that's great. Let's go ahead and stop mining with these two so that we're burning less electricity. That way I'm a lot less concerned. And this thing here, it's got 0 efficiency. Let's just go ahead and stop it as well. 5.71. Okay. So hypothetically, if one of these is occluded, like this guy here, it's got direct sunlight. We actually don't have anybody who would be occluded. Okay. Well, that seems fine. Our liquid fuel is going up at a pretty decent clip, actually. Quite decent clip. And the mass of this thing is reducing. Slowly. Very slowly. But I think we're fine. So, it looks like our asteroid base is going well, but we'll need to take another quick look at it once we have gotten to Jool with our lander. Once we've gotten there and done our braking burn. So let's go ahead and switch back to our Geraldo Mark II. And let's go ahead and warp to the Jool system. So, come on. There we go. Okay. Let's focus on Jool. So hop our focus on over to here. And I'm going to start a warp to here. And while we're warping, I'm going to be setting up a braking burn. So we're going to do a retrograde burn right here. And we're just going to try to encapsulate the Tylo orbit. Not quite that much. Something along the lines of that. A nice circular orbit. And as you can see, our inclination is certainly off. But once we get there, that'll be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel the auto warp and execute this particular node, and we'll let MechJeb do the warp. Fantastic. And we did manage to warp about 200 days while setting up that maneuver. And realistically, the question is then, do we want to try to do an inclination change at the same time? It would be a little bit more fuel efficient, but realistically, I don't think we need to. I am going to do an inclination burn, because I want to come in pretty equatorial on Tylo. But that should be just fine. We've got ourselves about a 2-year time warp here. So let's just go ahead and do that. In the meantime, we don't have anything around Paul. That's for sure. But all of the inner stuff is largely done. Once we land this lander, all of the inner moons will be complete. We'll have to do 2 missions to Paul, and then the crash land mission in Jool. And I think we'll crash into Jool next, assuming we don't have any contracts, and assuming that the asteroid base isn't ready to be moved yet. I mean, it's still at 92% mass. I'd be really surprised if it was ready to move by the time we finish up this mission. Like, incredibly surprised. All that said, we are not going to be landing on Tylo in this episode, I'm pretty sure. There's only about 6 minutes left in this particular episode, and we're still warping into the Jool system, so I'm pretty sure that this is going to stretch into one more episode. But that's okay. Things are getting really far away out here in the Jool system, and I mean, the only way it can get further is if it's Eeloo, and realistically, with Eeloo, the thing is, we definitely want to be launching, or, well, traveling to Eeloo, intercepting Eeloo, at a time when it's right around here. That's the transfer window. We don't want to be going to it way out here. So that's something we'll actually have to consider with Eeloo. It's so much more elliptical than the others. It's just an actual concern at that point. I mean, we could do phasing orbits and things like that. And that's probably what we'll end up doing. I doubt I'm actually going to do a timed launch, but we'll have to see. We do have about another year left in this time warp. That won't be too bad. There we go. I do wish there was one further time warp mode. Like warp at 1 million X instead of 100,000 X. That would be great. But alas, I don't think that is to be. Wow, what a time for a sneezing fit. Okay. Well, let's finish up this warp here, and we've got ourselves another 250 days. That won't be too bad. And of course our Jool base is over here, not exactly in orbit over Jool. Yet. It will be soon. I really don't know about making the timer on the contract, though. If I had known better what I was doing and we hadn't have had to land a second mining module, maybe. But so much mining time was wasted by the mining module and the power module. The second mining module and the power module. Sure, we can get it done. It just took a couple of extra launches, and at the distance that I built it, yeah, that took a lot of time. A lot of time that we could have been mining. Like I said, in the future, I probably would go for an asteroid that's much, much closer. But, alas, live and learn. Here we are in the Jool system, though. We're about 50 days away from our breaking burn. And we will be doing that momentarily. 25 days. 10 days. Breaking burn starting momentarily. It'll be about 1200 Delta V. And with it being 1200 Delta V, that'll be a reasonable amount of burn time. It won't be too bad. Not as much as some of our burns have been lately. Yeah, it'll be only about a 8 to 9 minute burn. Not too bad. Okay, make that a 10-minute burn. 10 minutes is fine. We've got plenty of time. No concerns at all. Here we come. We are going to be no longer escaping Jool very soon. Node in T-minus 3 minutes, except estimated burn 8 minutes. I don't know. I feel like MechJeb, you didn't burn quite early enough. I was basing my burn estimation off of the node timer, but I don't know, MechJeb is kind of favoring after the timer rather than before it. Not sure exactly why. It's certainly most efficient to burn exactly half before and exactly half after, since you can't burn it all exactly in the moment of the maneuver. There we go. No longer at escape velocity. And that's shrinking down nicely. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and be considering our inclination change. Of course, by the time this burn is completed, it will be time for a cut. So maybe I should just go ahead and put a cut in here. I mean, we've got another minute to burn. And we've got about another minute left in the video. I'll go ahead and leave it here. That should be fine. Another 400 meters per second. And our burn is going nicely. Well, hello, Jool and Lathe. What are you guys doing over there? Oh well, I don't really care. Where is Tylo right now? Tylo is a ways away from where we are. Tylo should be over here-ish. Oh, here. Hello, Tylo. You're right there. That's nice. And that would be Vol right there. No idea where Bop is. None whatsoever. Anyway, this burn is pretty much finished here, and we are going to be doing our inclination burn next, but that will have to wait until next episode. I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and next episode we will do our orbital insertion into Tylo orbit as well as our landing. See you all then.